Hi, afternoon, everybody. Afternoon, Isabel. Afternoon, Liz. I see you're the first two here this afternoon. Hope you guys are having a good week. Julie's just joined as well. Hi there, Julie. And who else have we got? Laura as well. Perfect. If you guys can hear me, if you could just put a quick note in the chat window, that would be brilliant. I have been known to sit here and talk to myself for a little while and nobody can hear me. So hopefully you can. Suleiman's joined as well. Suleiman, great for you to join us too. Perfect. Yeah, everybody can hear me. That is good. It's a problem with technology. It's great and sometimes bad in others for me as well. Brilliant. There we go. Who else has joined as well? So Sarah's joined too. It's going to give it another minute or two just to see if we get anybody else join us this afternoon. But like I say, I appreciate everybody's time. So that hi Suleiman. I was going to say, is it too early to ask Christmas? It's end of November. We're only a month out, aren't we? So I suppose it's probably allowed now. But hopefully everybody's getting ready for that. I should be doing my usual thing of losing my shopping till Christmas Eve. It's a standard thing as well in my household. That's what happens. Hi there, Kingsley. Nice of you to join us as well. Okay, I'll just give it another minute and just see how we go. Okay, so it's just gone 1 minute past. It's nearly 2 minutes past four. So let me kick off. So, like I said, thank you all very much. My name's Matt. I am the CEO of AT Superstore. Um, AT Superstore, just for everybody's sort of background, is Rob's just joined. Hi there, Rob. Is a e-commerce platform designed to bring in lots of different assistive technologies from not only the UK but from also all over the world. And I don't know if you can hear that. I've got a kitten I'm looking after at the moment who's decided to join in. So there we are, little side interlude. So that's what AT Superstore is here to do. So to give individuals, whether that be educators, parents, people in the corporate world, whoever, the opportunity to go on and look at lots of different assistive technology and to make an educated decision on what is right for them. So what we're going to do today, and like I say, the chat window is open for anybody to put in any sort of questions and stuff they want as we go along. In fact, the more the merrier on that. I think it's nothing better than having some sort of chat going on there, letting everybody feed in from your own experiences and stuff, or any questions that you've got that we can share and hopefully answer for you. But just gonna have a little look through some of the assistive technologies and stuff that are available, where we see those being used in terms of education and the questions that are getting asked, and then how that sort of links in just quickly to the resources that we're building for you guys to be able to utilize on AT Superstore. So I'm going to share my screen. When I share my screen, I'm going to turn my camera off just that I've had previous issues with the internet playing up. So I'm going to turn that off. But as soon as I share, if you could put a quick note in the chat window, that would be brilliant. So fingers crossed we get this. So hopefully everybody can hear that, see that now. And just put a note in the chat window, that would be great. Check in to see. Yeah, brilliant, Julie. That's great. Thank you very much. Right, I'm going to flick my camera off and then hopefully that we're getting bandwidth issues. So we've just been through obviously who I am and what AT Superstore is. So let's just have a little move on to what we're going to cover today. So obviously we're going to look at some of the most popular tools we're being seen used this year so far. And also how to get students using some assistive technology. Now, you've seen the bottom left-hand side, the Moon Hall school logo there. So if anybody doesn't know, Moon Hall is a specialist dyslexia school based down in Reigate, where we've done quite a lot of work with them on some of the use of assistive technology. David Curran down there is their head of AT, and we actually did a webinar together yesterday where feeding in some of that experience and stuff. And I think that's the one thing that AT Superstore is about, is trying to give everybody information and knowledge from a point of assistive technology. It's an industry that I've been in for over 20 years. And obviously, in terms of educators, where we can put in the likes of people like David, who can see this on a daily basis from a school's point of view. So we can try and build up resources and information and a learning opportunity for everybody as well. Seems a few more messages in the chat coming up. So A lot of echoes. Anybody else having any issues with the echo at all? Let me just turn my mic off and back on again for everybody. Should be okay. No, no, all good. Okay, cheers, guys. Thank you for that. Sorry, Kings, if you've got an issue there. Um, so we also talked to him about how to get students using assistive tech quickly and confidently as well. So, what is assistive technology? Now, some of you, again, and apologies if I'm preaching to the converted on this one, may be fully aware of what AT is, as we call it. But it can be various different things from physical things like we have some things called SAM boards, which are physical sensory little boards and stuff, all the way through to VI software. So for those with visual impairment, things such as Zoom Text, etc., or Supernova and programs like that, which are designed specifically for people with VI. You'll have also have seen stuff as well in terms of things where people maybe use things like Smartbox have a thing which is used. You would have seen people with potentially with M&D who use that sort of technology. So it could be a whole range of things, and it sort of does depend all the way through from reading, writing, organizing. Drop my pen. Hang on, I'll get some notes. Reading, writing, and organizing through to focus and stuff as well. So it can be things like reading. So it could be like text to speech. So programs that then obviously read the text back to somebody. Um, that can be things from products like TextAid or Speechify, lots of different things and stuff as well, and actually physical pens as well. So we see increasingly number of schools using physical pens to actually read as well. Could be writing, speech to text. A lot of us potentially have used things like Dragon, or we might even use things similar to that on our phones, like WhatsApp, by leaving voice messages. So again, Dragon is something we see used again to make the process easier. Also, things like predictive text software or grammar checkers and so that are specifically designed for people with disabilities. Organizational products, so visual planners, mind mapping. We're seeing increasing number of schools using mind mapping tools and different types of mind mapping tools. This is one of the other things that we're seeing within assistive technology is a different use of technology from things that are installed locally. So historically, used to see a lot of time with products installed locally onto machines, all the way through now to what we're seeing increasing number of this assistive technologies being available online. So the students can use it at home, they can use it in the classroom, on their phones, tablets, all manner of things. Focus. So where there are now sort of increased number of sort of apps and stuff to increase focus, to focus in on what you're doing, or all the way through to noise cancelling headphones. Sure, we've all seen a lot of individuals and stuff who are potentially wearing headphones to cancel that background noise so they can concentrate on what they're doing. We see an increasing number of those being used and stuff, and more of the in-ear type. I actually was speaking to a school last week who were interested in a product because they got an increasing number of students with sensory issues around noise who were using their Apple AirPods. But as one of the teachers said to me, we didn't sure if they were listening to us or something on their phone. So again, there's that type of technology and stuff we're seeing more and more of as well. So what have we seen that's been popular and more in schools using this year? So we mentioned text to speech. More and more we're seeing schools looking at that as an option whereby primarily individuals and stuff with dyslexia are using those tools to have the text read back to them. It could be an essay, could be all manner of things. We're also seeing more of that being used in exams as well. So some of the exam boards where the individual has used that previously and it's part of an adjustment for them, they're using that type of technology within their exams as well, as long as it meets those obvious requirements. We talk about dictation software, things like Dragon. There's also other products out there. Sensory App House have a product which will work within that, so you can dictate in making that writing process a little bit easier for people. Exam reader pens, again, individuals taking pens into exams instead of having a human reader. So that's seen an increase and stuff in terms of the volume of those being used that we have with schools over the last year. Note taking, mind mapping, and this is something that we've seen from more recently and stuff where individuals taking notes digitally, so being able to create a transcript of what went on, so they've got that transcript straight away in written format. There's a really innovative piece of software out there at the moment called Ivy Notes, which will turn that into a mind map. So if you have people who are potentially visual learners, they can then go on there and look at that and see that they can actually access the information in a visual format as well. Visual schedulers, timers, people with sort of time management issues and things like that, whereby those sort of products and stuff really help for them to be able to manage their homework, manage their assignments, things like that. And again, the noise cancelling headphones. So this is the majority of where we have seen those sort of products and stuff. The other thing that's actually not included on here, which is something we have seen as well, is sensory products. So an increasing number of sensory products out there and schools purchasing those. There's a few items on the store, some sensory products. In fact, one of our guest today on the webinar is from one of the councils that worked on the PINS project, and I know they purchased a sensory pod as part of that. So we're seeing an increasing number of those sensory pods and sensory sort of products being used as well. AI is the other thing. Now, I know AI is one of those words that we see a lot bandied around in various different ways and stuff like that and different things. So that's something else we're seeing more of is the use of AI, whether that be AI that is local AI, whether it's AI embedded in existing tools that we're using, or AI that is specifically there within assistive technology. Wearable and focus sensory aids. So one of my colleagues, Kyron, was actually at a tech event last Wednesday, I believe, and there was a new wearable device which we're going to see in the next few weeks, which again was designed to help focus. So the individual wears it. It's like a watch, and it will then send pulses out. So it will detect when that individual is not maybe focusing, and it will then send pulses. I'm going to be really intrigued to see this. And again, something different, something very much out there that again is utilizing that sort of wearable tech and the things that we sort of basically become something we put on as normal. Portable exam support tools, we've spoken about the pens. And again, those interactive schedulers and routine apps. There's a product we're aware of called Study Key, which is very interactive with the individual and allows them to create those routines and stuff as well. I think the thing to point out with all of the sort of tech that we are talking about within AT, what we're seeing in schools and stuff is that there is lots of technology available for individuals with disabilities, and that is effectively where the assistive technology, comes to the forefront, if you like, in the fact that could be for individuals with dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, autism, like I said, visual impairments, physical impairments, sensory. We're seeing an increasing amount of conversations with schools around issues with noise. I had a conversation with a guy from a company called Mumbly not so long back, and he was talking about the increased sensitivity that we're all finding since COVID with noise. And that was something that a couple of schools have sort of fed back to us that that's an area where they're looking for that technology to help with that noise. So I think that's important to say within what we're trying to sort of do within that AT space at the moment is getting feedback from yourselves in terms of what works. That peer information, I think, is really beneficial to everybody. So that's something that we're looking for as well. I've got a slide up here again around the case study. So as I said, one of our guests on the webinar today, Suleiman, is from Kirklees Council, and we were lucky enough to work with Suleiman to provide equipment as part of a 14 school pins project. Now, some of you will have seen some of that information and stuff around some of the pins projects that are out there. I think we're on to pins two, I think was something I saw the other day. And this is a loan bank of equipment, again, where schools can then access it through their local authority and stuff here. You see a nice little quote there and stuff from Suleiman, and it was great to be able to do that. And they took advantage of products such as scan markers, the handheld scanners, all the way through to sort of debuds and some sensory items as well. And we've done a case study which is on our website as one of our resource pages as well. So if you'd like to take a look at that, please feel free to do so. The other question we get asked a lot around by schools and educators, it is trying the tech, using the tech, getting students and pupils to get involved with that. So one of the things that we are working on with all of the people on the site and stuff is where there is an opportunity for schools and educators to try the product. So try it with a pupil, see if it's the right thing for them. If it is, great. If it isn't, well, let's see what else is there. And to try and do that and to make the tech sort of more, David put this slide up here about sort of normalizing it. There is a lot of features within this technology which is really beneficial, and it just becomes part of what that individual does every day, which I think is really important. Um, Again, sharing success stories and things like that. That's something again that we are very keen to do, is to sort of share those stories where technology has made a difference, whether it be to an individual, could be increasing their grades, an element of independence. That's a big thing that we were talking about with educators at the TES show this year was creating independent learners and how the technology can do that. And again, then looking at where we can stay up to date on any guidelines and information and stuff like that, that we can get out there. There's a little logo there on the right-hand side of that screen for a program called Tau Excel, which is a e-learning platform around assistive technologies. It's disability impact related, so you can see how those products will work. It's also CPD accredited as well. So that course is offering individuals stuff to go through it. The chance to obviously then get CPD accreditation for completing the course as well. We're seeing educators now looking at that to upskill themselves and stuff and have that available online to do it. And I think it's also, part and parcel of what we want to try and do as AT Superstore, is to share resources, information, etc., with yourselves and stuff, so that you can see more of what is out there. More importantly, I think what other schools and individuals are doing and where they've had success cases from that. So that's the slide stuff. I just wanted to show everybody a quick link to one of those resources and stuff in terms of that. And it's on our blog page, where again, we've got some information there around sort of inclusive classrooms, etc. Why assistive technology matters. And on that blog post, we've got a lot more information and stuff as well. And we are currently building out a resources section onto the site as well that will have even more information available and stuff, so that we can share that with everybody. We're very lucky we're having some information and some written and some few articles by a lady called Dr. Helen Ross, who is very much well regarded within the dyslexia field and stuff. So we can again impart more information for you as educators to go on and have a look. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen now for everybody. And then we'll just go back and open it up to any questions from what people have seen and been through today. Perfect. So has anybody any questions or something they'd like to raise on what they've seen, or anything that we can sort of share within the sort of chat at the moment that might be of interest? This is where I'm hoping for lots of, well, I say lots of questions. That's always probably the worst thing to say, isn't it? But let's see if anybody's got anything in there. I don't know if whether or not Anybody has anything to say? Liz has come up with. What's the name of the AT course that you can get CPD accreditation? Sorry, yes, it's called Tau XL. I'll put a little link in to the chat window for everybody now, so I'll just do that so you can see that. But that again is like I say, it's a CPD accredited course. There's an education version there, which I'll just put the link in. There we go. So you can go on and have a look at that. Again, like I say, it goes through disability impact related into each area. You can look at the products and stuff, and then again, there's some quizzes, there's some additional resources as well, which is really beneficial. And you can have a look at that as well at the same point. Any other questions at all? Like I said, I know we were lucky enough to have one of our individuals from Suleiman from Kirklees who we worked with on that pins project. So, Suleiman, I don't know if there's anything from your experience you wanted to just drop in the chat window for everybody in terms of the pins project and how that's working for you guys. I'd be really keen to know how that technology is being used by the schools. Appreciate it's only put you on the spot there a little and in the chat window, but that would be great if you can. And I guess, is there anything else at all that anybody would like to sort of cover off? Perfect. Positive been shared across many schools. Brilliant, Solomon. Appreciate that. Excellent. Yeah, that's the type of thing I think which we are obviously keen on and stuff to report back to everybody is those benefits and stuff that we're seeing from that. Great question as well, Liz. Yeah, likewise. It'd be good if anybody on there would just want to check down on there what you might be using at the moment. That would be amazing. Be really keen to see what other people stuff are doing out there. Um, yeah, it'd be good to see. Whereabouts are you based in, Liz? I've got a feeling I might know the answer to this one, but um, really good point there, Suleiman. I think this is Oldham College. I was right. Um, I think it's a good point that you make there, Suleiman, around the pen readers. And I think this is something that, again, from an assistive technology point of view, it's getting that information out to a wider audience. You know, if schools aren't aware of it, then obviously they're not going to be able to find what they need to do that. So I think you raise a good point there. So we need to get more people aware of the AT. I think the other thing to stress is it's not this is not something that to sort of be scared of or what have you, but this is something that there is products ranging from less than £50 all the way up to, yes, some very expensive stuff, but it's not expensive. Although the word technology is in there, it is not expensive with some of these solutions. Um, are there any tips around reluctance of schools in using speech to text because of noise disruption? Um, Interesting, Laura. Now, we see more and more of that changing with the use and the better use of headsets with the microphones and stuff around those in terms of that speech to text. So things like Dragon and stuff now picks up less of the background noise and stuff. Obviously, I get from the noise disruption as people using it. Um, we haven't had much feedback in terms of what schools doing that, but I'm going to make a little note of that because I would be interested in talking to our some of our schools to see if we can do something around that. Because I think you raise a very good question, actually. Do JCQ have a list of technology? So, Julie, they don't have a list of technology. What they have is a set of guidelines of what is and isn't allowed and what are the rules and stuff around that. We have some information on that. So, if you'd like, I am quite happy to send that out to you, post this again around some of the sort of bits and pieces and stuff around exams. Um, yeah, get that as well, or just on my view, just something more? I have to counteract things. Yes, please, Julie. We will get back to you on that one. It is something we did around exams and stuff on a previous webinar, actually. So we'll get that out to you, the information and stuff, and where again JCQ outline their guidelines. This is something where we often see people talk about are their products approved? They are, again, not approved. They are just within the guidelines of what JCQ writes, etc. So reading pens, we mentioned pens, exam pens. There's no specific one mentioned, but there are specific rules around that. And also there is a piece in terms of, is that the pupil's normal way of working? If so, then that's okay. But again, I'll send that. And yes, Laura will share that with yourself as well. Okay, perfect. We've got a couple of minutes left. If anybody's got any other questions around that, that'd be great to put it in there. I'm just going to put my email address there in the bottom. If anybody thinks of anything afterwards, if there's any other information around that you'd be interested in, then please do drop me an email and reach out. Either myself, one of my colleagues, either Lauren, Kyron, or Carly would happily get back in contact and we can have a look at that. Uh, Finds it hard to process written, verbal, or by Glory, put me right on the spot there. So, webinar where for an autistic child finds it hard to process written or verbal information. Okay, interesting. So, in terms of that, Laura, what do you look at in terms of visual representation? So one of the things that we tend to look at is things whereby potentially visual mind maps are quite an interesting way of doing that with autistic children. So again, they've got a written side as opposed to processing the writing. Again, anything where they can listen in. There's a couple of programs there from a speech to text that you can actually download them into a MP3 so they can listen to anything that way. Again, we've seen in sort of situations and stuff where that's also another way of doing it. As like I said, a program like Ivy, which will turn that all of that sort of information again into audible and visual at the same point is potentially another one. We'll reach out to you afterwards, Laura, as well with some suggestions if that's okay with you. Study project you mentioned. Yep, I can do that, Laura, as well. Let me just put a little note in the diary for that one as well. Okay, excellent. Well, is this coming up to half four, everybody? So, like I say, I just want to thank everybody for their time this afternoon. I appreciate the run up to Christmas and etc. It's busy, and everybody's extremely busy. Oh, Rob's come in with something there. Talking about using tech for our son. Do you engage with schools? So we work with schools, individuals, Rob. Yeah, anybody that needs the technology where we can help. We often look at these things and think, look, if we can help one individual, one piece of tech, then we've done our job. And so yeah, please by all means drop me an email, Rob. Be happy to see what we can do to help you out. Okay, well, like I said, thank you everybody for your time this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. It's been excellent having so many of you on this afternoon. And again, if there's anything that we can help with, my email address is there. Please have a look at atsuperstore.com. We will be running some more webinars in the new year. Got a couple more coming up with the team at SEMMAC, I believe, around a product and also with the team from a Canadian product called Neuraline, which is again it's a new piece of technology to arrive in the UK. It's interesting in terms of its approach to dyslexia and gamification for reading. So yeah, that'd be worth having a look at. So please keep a lookout for our webinar that's coming up. And in the meantime, any questions, please drop me an email. And thank you all once again for your time. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one soon. So thanks very much.